Well, we're going to get back, as I promised. I'm going to show you the treatments that I've used for my um, stage 5 or terminal leukemia. These are the things that seem to help me get this under control and help me live a more normal life. It's not a cure, and I'm not selling anything. I'm just going to tell you what got me off basically um, life support or the death sentence and back to making plans for the future. A lot of these things may be foreign, and again, I'm not selling, this is just what worked for me. I'm not going to say they work for everyone. There is some scientific evidence behind what we're using and what we're doing. And I started taking these about October 10th or 11th. The first drug that I'm taking is, maybe you guys are aware because it's been on the internet a little bit. It's fenbendazole. It has been associated with cancer treatment. In my case, I took these for 3 weeks and really didn't see any improvement. I've done some research on them. I was taking 222 milligrams to start with. I've upped it to 444. And in all the information I've looked at, there's no side effects to this. So I've continued looking, I've continued using this, and along with in my daily regimen. So I take one of these pills every day. I also take vitamin E. It is supposed to support the fenbendazole. So I take vitamin E every day, and we're talking about 450 milligrams or 1,000 units, along with 1,000 units or 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I take all of those in the morning, along with just a good multivitamin. That stuff seems to be working in conjunction with, of course, I take a handful of apricots. The apricots, I've heard people say, well, crap, it's the seeds that help cancer. Well, in my case, I'll eat a handful of dried fruit. Now, for the probably most controversial item, because there is no, when I started using this, there was really no evidence that it should help cancer. I started using it because I used it in my barn. Again, I believe in divine inspiration or a higher power. And I got the thought one day to start taking just regular DMSO that you can get at the farm stores, Cow Ranch, IFA in these neck of the woods, Murdoch's, where it's 99% pure. So I started taking this, and within 4 or 5 days, the cancer was in my brain. If you watched the first video, it was in my spinal cord, in my brain, in my lymph nodes. My liver and my pancreas has started shutting down, and I had turned gray. I was having a heck of a time keeping my lymph nodes drained, so I was having numbness in my legs. My legs were swelling up, my feet were swelling up. It was just kind of a mess. So I started taking this liquid, and I would take it once a day. So I would take it in, and it is extremely, extremely nasty. And when one of its characteristics is when it mixes with any kind of fluid, whether it be soda pop or water or whatever, there's a chemical reaction during that chemical reaction it gets warm. So I was taking it, and I would mix it with something trying to kill the taste in it. And the best delivery method I found is I would take 1 cc or 1 milliliter a day, and I would use a 3cc needle or a 3cc syringe with a 20 gauge needle on the bottom of it. And then I would take these gel caps and I would poke a hole in the top of the gel caps, fill it up with 1cc of DMSO, and then swallow. I do that for 10 days straight, and then I take 4 days off to get rid of any residual buildup of the DMSO. I didn't see any side effects. No upset stomach. Like I say, it cleared my brain fog and my head pressure up in like 3 or 4 days. My liver and kidneys, it maybe took a week for them to start working again, which is amazing. And again, I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling you what happened to me. I wasn't taking any other medications but this. I cut back on the over-the-counter pain medications from 24 and one amoxicillin a day to help with the infection I had in my mouth, to right now I'm taking probably 3 ibuprofens a day. The amoxicillin is only when it's needed. So I think the last 3 months I've taken maybe 2 of them. But this stuff has helped me tremendously. I did fool around with the dosage. So I upped the dosage from 1cc a day up to 1.5cc a day, or 1.5 meals a day. And after a couple of weeks, I did feel some residual buildup in there, which it really wasn't unpleasant. It was just you can feel it build up in there. It's you don't feel as good, so there may be a little bit of queasiness or something. But when I cut back to the 1cc a day, and which I've been taking for 4 months now, almost 5, all of that stuff went away. I can't say that I've had any side effects with it. Once in a while, I do get random itching in my legs and my hands, which when I talk to the doctors, and again, off the first video, I went to Mexico and got stem cell treatments twice. The random itchiness, the doctors say, could be a good sign in effect that it may be cancer die-off. So I did get some of that random itchiness. It was like itchiness for 4 or 5 seconds during the day, and then it would be gone. And it wasn't all over. It was just maybe on my ankle or on my hand or something, which there really wasn't any reason to have itchiness there other than it was either the cancer, in which early on, when I was first diagnosed with cancer, my legs did get very, very itchy at the end of the day, and part of that was swelling and the lymph nodes and the whole 9 yards there. But this stuff, and again, I'm not selling anything. I am just putting the information out there where people can make a informed decision on what they want to do. And in my case, it was very easy because the Western medicine said, in my age and the condition that my blood was in, which was I had less than 80 platelets and around 200 white cells. So I was critically low white cells, and I was put on the do not operate list. So there was no other options. They couldn't do chemo. They couldn't do a bone marrow transplant. They couldn't do anything for me, which is basically they told me to go home and kick the bucket. So this is what's been helping me. It's not a cure. It does help me function day to day, probably 10 times better than I was without it. So as I'd been using it over the months, I thought, well, shoot, let's do a little research on it to see whether there are any side effects or there's any whether it's poison, basically. And in my case, my motto always is right now, what's it going to do? Kill me? I already have terminal cancer or stage 5 leukemia, so there's not really a downside. So it gave me the freedom to go ahead and try some of this stuff um, without really it being a downside. And again, because I believe in a higher power, when I got what I would call divine inspiration to take this, I did it willing because there wasn't really any downside. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't talked to one soul that has used DMSO for cancer treatment. There may be a few out there, but I hadn't heard anything. It hadn't been recommended to me by anybody. The fenbendazole I'd been told about by a couple of different people. And since I've been using the DMSO and people ask me about it, they associate DMSO. There's a powder called MSM. It's very similar. People say that a lot of people say that DMSO and MSM are the same thing. Well, they're not. They're different molecules, and I will caution anybody that wants to replace taking liquid DMSO with a powdered MSM. They sell it at vitamin supplement stores and stuff like that. It's to keep inflammation out of your joints, but it doesn't work with cancer like DMSO does because the molecules are different. They react different in your system. They don't absorb as well. They just seem to be different. And me taking MSM was absolutely no help whatsoever. Like I say, I experimented with some of this stuff, and the only thing I can tell you is these are the things that work for me. It's, again, I'm not selling anything. I'm just putting this information out there, and because of my personality, I am willing to do and try things that make sense to me rather than to accept the fact that there is no treatment for leukemia in Western medicine for people over the age of 55. I have a hard time thinking that no one can beat that, and according to everyone, everyone I get most of my information is from the American Cancer Association, that it's a death sentence. For anybody over the age of 55, you're going to die usually within the first 2 years. So it's been a couple months. It'll be 3 years for me. They tried to have hospice come over on October 10th when I had multiple organ failures and infection in my mouth. My lymph nodes had quit working. But we decided to go a different avenue, and I'm still here. So that's the information I'm putting out there, and I will continue to make videos. I'm going to show some of the things that I've endured and some of the doctors that I've actually visited with, and the fact that a lot of people, especially with leukemia, until you get very, very bad and turn gray like I had in October, when you go see a doctor, they all say, well, shoot, you don't look sick. So I don't think they look for they're not as diligent looking for your disease as they would be if you walked in there frail and beat up. So I'm going to post a couple other videos here, and I'm going to basically log my progress, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the setbacks, hoping this would help people and we could start a community that can support each other and can understand what people with leukemia are going through. And just have a community of support. Again, you're not alone. Um, you're not. This is this is my journey, and if I can help and support you, then I just get a hold of me, and I would be happy to answer any questions. Um, and thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll get another video out in the next day or two. Thanks.